The Pokemon franchise has been around for 20 years, and within its universe, there have been hundreds of mysteries surrounding its lore. But there's one mystery that's been around since the beginning that hasn't been explained much: Professor Oak's Parcel. In Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, and the Fire Red and Leaf Green remakes, when the player enters the Viridian City Pokemart for the first time, the clerk asks them to deliver a package to Professor Oak. The player must then return to Pallet Town and deliver Oak's parcel, after which Oak gives the player and the rival the Pokédex, allowing them to continue past Viridian City. When you deliver Oak's parcel in the games, he says that it's a custom Pokeball that he had ordered. And after this vague explanation, no mention is ever made of it again. We definitely don't have a lot to go on if we want to figure out what sort of Pokeball this might have been. With that being said, custom Pokeballs have manifested themselves in one form or another throughout the games. There are two companies known to manufacture Pokeballs in the games: Silphco in Kanto, and Devon Corporation in Hoenn. And trainers can obtain custom Pokeballs from two known sources, from Kurt in Johto, or customizing already made Pokeballs with seals found in Sinnoh.
Let's narrow down this list. There is no record of Professor Oak visiting Hoenn, so we could probably ignore Devon. Also, while Oak is known to visit Sinnoh, seals in the games are applied by the trainer themselves. So, unless Oak had ordered the seals, it seems more likely that if he wanted to customize a Pokeball with seals, he would have gone to Sinnoh and had it customized personally. That leaves Silphco in Kanto and Kurt in Johto. In the Generation 1 games, the only Pokeballs known to exist in Kanto are the Pokeball, Great Ball, Ultra Ball, Safari Ball, and the prototype Master Ball. The Master Ball is confirmed to be a Pokeball developed by Silphco, and it is implied that Silphco is responsible for the production of the Pokeballs in Kanto as well. There is only one known prototype Master Ball in the Generation 1 games, but what if there was another one, and it was sent to Professor Oak for research and testing purposes? It's a possibility, but the way Professor Oak's parcel is delivered, being sent to a Pokemon Center and having some random 10-year-old take it to him, doesn't really seem like a secure and discreet enough way to transport such a powerful prototype. So, the idea that Professor Oak's parcel is a prototype Master Ball is probably not so likely.
There is one person in the Pokemon universe that famously makes his living making custom Pokeballs: Kurt, the Pokeball Smith of Azalea Town. Kurt can make special Pokeballs from various apricorns found around the Johto region, and it's also implied that Oak and Kurt are friends. A young Oak's picture appears in Kurt's house in the games, and they are confirmed to be childhood friends in the Pokemon Adventures manga canon. So it could be quite plausible that Professor Oak's parcel was a custom Pokeball he ordered from Kurt. Based on what we know from the games, Kurt doesn't typically send out his Pokeballs, he has his patrons pick them up themselves, but he could have made an exception for his friend Professor Oak. The idea that Oak's parcel is an apricorn Pokeball from Kurt is a fairly plausible and satisfying explanation, but there's one more theory that we haven't discussed yet, one that also has ties to Kurt and Johto: the GS Ball.
The GS Ball was an item only attainable in the Japan version of Pokemon Crystal as an event item through the Japan-only Pokemon mobile system, GB. Once obtained, the player could take the GS Ball to Kurt to be examined. One day later, he would return the GS Ball to you and ask you to check why the Ilex Forest is so restless. Placing the GS Ball in the shrine in the Ilex Forest would trigger an event with a level 30 Wild Celebi. There is no overt link to Professor Oak in the game, but if we look at the anime, we find that Professor Ivy was the first person to possess the GS Ball, and she asked for Professor Oak to help study it. The GS Ball couldn't be transferred via PC, so Ash retrieved the GS Ball and gave it to Oak. But ultimately, Oak couldn't figure it out and had Ash bring the GS Ball to Kurt and Johto. The anime is different canon than the games, but what if the games actually do tell a similar story about the GS Ball? Let's talk through the scenario. Number 1. Oak is contacted to study a mysterious Pokeball, the GS Ball. The ball is unable to be transferred via PC, so it is instead mailed to the Pokemart in Viridian City, where the player, Red, delivers the parcel Oak calls it the custom Pokeball he ordered, not wanting to disclose all the details to the player. Number 2. Fast forward 3 years later, Oak meets the player character of Gold and Silver, Gold or Chris. While visiting with Mr. Pokemon, he takes note of the new trainer who was selected by Professor Elm as someone with potential. Number 3. Over time, the player defeats Team Rocket in various places. Slowpoke Well, in Azalea Town, in Mahogany Town, and ultimately at their last stand in the Goldenrod radio tower, where Professor Oak co-hosts a popular radio show. Number 4. Suppose Oak has figured out that the GS Ball had some connection to Celebi. Perhaps the anime canon where he met Celebi as a child applies to the game as well. But he needs to find a worthy trainer to unlock this connection. Red has disappeared to Mount Silver, and Blue is occupied at Viridian City Gym Leader. He decides that Gold/Chris is the best trainer for the job, so he leaves the GS Ball at the Goldenrod City Pokemon Center where it can be given to them. This can be supported by the fact that Professor Oak works in Goldenrod City, and that in the US localization of Pokemon Crystal, the GS Ball was intended to be attainable somehow at the Goldenrod Pokemon Center.
This theory still has some holes in it, like the fact that we had to reference anime canon in order to get some of the ideas for this theory. However, given that the anime is ultimately inspired by the ideas in the games, it could conceivably give us some clues about the hidden lore of the games, even though it has its own separate canon. If any of the theories we've given here are correct, the most believable one would probably be that Oak's Parcel is a Pokeball made by Kurt. But whether it's an Apricorn Pokeball or the GS Ball, it's cool to think that Game Freak might have possibly been hinting at the Generation 2 games with this one seemingly insignificant side quest. Hey guys! Thanks so much for watching this episode of Sweet Speculation. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like. Also, check out some of my other Sweet Speculations and my other videos. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Also, I'd like to give a big thanks to my special guest for this episode, Edkraze. Be sure to check out his channel too.
I just want to say thank you, SweetBananaGaming, for having me come over and collab with you. This is my first time doing this type of video, and it was really fun. And hopefully I can do more of these in the near future on my channel, which, if you want to check me out, I mainly do reviews of the Pokemon anime, and Let's Plays, and almost everything Pokemon, so if you're interested in that, come check me out.
Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.